Hello everybody, I'd like to welcome you back to my channel. So today I wanted to talk about some things that have been happening. I'm going to talk about my year in review. I'm going to talk about kind of, like, what the hell's the term? Pop culture. Jeez. I'm going to talk about pop culture and what's wrong with it. But first off, I wanted to say that, I know it's been 6 months since my last video, and that's a huge problem on my part, clearly, but I was a lot busier than I expected to be. I was in 3 shows at college, and I was working 3 jobs, and I was doing 5 classes. Now, if any of you have been to college, everyone you can obviously understand workload for 5 classes. So that's a full-time student. I was working 3 jobs, and I was trying to do at least like 10 hours a week at the jobs, combined 10 hours. And I was also a part of shows, so I legitimately had no free time. I barely got homework done. Luckily, I passed all my classes. That wasn't a big deal. But I got so busy to the point where I had no time to myself. So, of course, the last thing I wanted to do was try to be productive by doing a podcast, because I'd much rather sleep and be prepared for the next day. So, that's what happened with me for 6 months. I was just doing way too much, and it was a pretty dark time for anything creative in my life, and it really sucked. But I wanted to talk about their year in review, actually, on this podcast. So what happened was, if any of you follow Bethesda, they released that they were going to do Elder Scrolls 6, and a lot of people were, like, freaking out, like, really excited. I am. But they said production, hasn't even started yet. I think that's what I heard. Production hasn't really started, and also they're kind of under hot water about that. Excuse me. And they're also in hot water about Fallout 76. Now, obviously, a lot of this is old news, so I'm going to give it kind of like a brief synopsis on what happened. So essentially, Fallout 76, in many people's eyes, tanked because it felt like just a base game that was kind of handed out, and they were just like, alright, here you go, this is the base game, and we are just gonna see how it goes. And a lot of people got really upset with that. I don't know, I played the game. I don't think it's that bad, but it just feels like there's not really much of a story. Like I said, it kind of feels like a base game, but overall, on a base game, it's very cool. I think Bethesda does really well with open worlds, clearly, because that's like their main forte. That's their bread and butter. It's the, like, mac and cheese for them, considering if you like mac and cheese. And I don't know, like, I thought it was really cool to have a Fallout version of, like, a multiplayer online, because I mean, to actually have more people that you can interact with, I think is cool, and have more people like that you can work along with. So it almost kind of builds to like a lore, almost, I guess you could say, because it feels like, instead of it just being like you and one person that follows you to like take out a group like in Follow 4, you kind of cross paths with other people that have survived, and I always just found that to be interesting, whenever I was playing, because it kind of adds to the whole dynamic of people are fighting to create society again, I guess you could say. And I don't know, I guess a lot of people really didn't like it. I didn't think it was that bad, like I said earlier. And obviously they also got into hot water because one of their deluxe like deals for the game was you get a duffel bag, and it had a bunch of different like collectible items inside, and a lot of people got really pissed because what they offered was different than what they gave. It was a different type of like material for the duffel bag, and so they tried to like repay the favor by getting more, what was it, like the virtual currency. They're called atoms, I think, or is it atom? I don't remember, but like it's an Atom something. And sorry, I'm still stuck on the Atom thing. So what they did was they gave virtual currency to people that got the deluxe package, and a lot of people thought that was them trying to beat around a lawsuit, which very well it could be. But then again, if you're working a multi-million dollar company, and you're trying to weigh out all your options, yeah, you could give all that money back, but that would be really hard. But assuming that people like the game and there's a lot of good reviews on it, if you just give them kind of like a reimbursement of money, I mean, I can understand. And also, I mean, it's kind of hard to be the head of a multi-million dollar company, because business is not in any way, shape, or form easy. And obviously, I understand what they did was, like anything they could have done would have had ramifications, because like, most video games you can't in general get refunds, like full price refunds. And also, just like if you were going to get it online, it's kind of hard to do reimbursement. Like with Microsoft Store, you don't get any sort of reimbursement after you buy a game. Same as Steam, you get like a 2-day return policy. So I guess it's kind of, I don't know. I didn't do too much research into it. All I know is that people were pissed, and they got into hot some water, and people thought that they were trying to beat around. People thought that they were trying to tiptoe around and just kind of give money back to people in a different form of currency, because that doesn't breach, not copyright. It doesn't breach. Like they can't get a lawsuit against them because they're paying them back in a favor of another way, and if people accept it, then they can't file a lawsuit because they got like an alternative payment back. And I don't really think Todd Howard, the head of Bethesda, was really kind of attempting to do it that way. I think he was kind of just, like, here's money back for our online like community store that you can use in the game as a sorry. I don't think they were trying to do it as, to give people like another way of paying them back. I don't know. Bethesda, I don't know. Maybe it is just because Bethesda is one of my favorite production groups that I'm being biased. I very well could be, because, I probably have the bias that, like, Todd Howard would never do anything wrong. And I think a lot of people probably thought that in, the Bethesda fan community. But there's also a lot of people that just got completely turned off by Todd Howard and what he did. And I get that, it's it's not the best thing to do. Just be like, here's some virtual currency, and if you turn the other way, then all this will go away. But it did kind of, it seemed like it got resolved fast. I don't really see any more disputes on it anywhere, whether it be on Facebook or anything at all. I don't see any sort of disputes. Sorry. So I guess it went over somewhat well. I kind of followed it for like the first couple weeks, and then I just got really tired of it because everyone was shitting on Bethesda, and I get really tired of seeing stuff like that all the freaking time. But if you are getting kind of turned away from Elder Scrolls, I'm in no way of affiliation with any of this, by the way, whether it be Bethesda or CD Projekt Red. Because I was going to say, I just recently got The Witcher complete game for like $15 on Xbox, because I've heard so many good things about Witcher 3, and I tried Witcher 2 and it was pretty good. I just didn't fully get into it, but just to play devil's advocate, and just to play devil's advocate again, it is a very good game, and I think they do a lot of things really well. Compared to Elder Scrolls, I think they have really great integration whenever it comes to graphics and an immersive storyline, and it almost feel and it kind of almost feels like ESO, Elder Scrolls Online, but in an offline format. I know that sounds kind of weird, but the way I was playing it, it feels like a massive like a massive world, and it feels like there's just a couple things that they did that it kind of almost feels like the same form of ESO. Not that they did, but like I just kind of personally draw similarities between ESO and The Witcher 3. I'm not saying that anyone copycatted off of anyone, but it is a great alternative if you like open worlds. It's a lot of fun. Now, keep in mind it is rated M for all you that are underage. But then again, no one really listens to any of that ESRB rating. Is that it? ESRB. Yeah. Right? Yeah. Sorry, I got barely any sleep. But anyways, back to The Witcher. I'm not sure how many hours I'm into it, but I started to delve into the main storyline. I'm probably like a handful plus, maybe like two handfuls of missions into it. It's a lot of fun. I'm having a great time with it, and I would totally recommend it if anyone ever wants to play other open worlds that are other than Bethesda games, or anything that's like GTA 5 or like Rockstar created, or any sort of anything like that. It's a great series. And I just re-downloaded Witcher 2 because I want to get into it and then kind of play from Witcher 2 into Witcher 3. I have to look to see what I can do to get Witcher 1 because I like to play games in succession, but I kind of messed up clearly because I started with 3, and if I backtrack, then obviously the series is going to be kind of not in the correct order, but whatever. That's my personal, opinion. Witcher 3 is very good. So that's my opinion. And what else just happened to me recently? I released my EP. In my mind, it is a 5-track EP, and it has a lot of it has to deal with some mental struggles I was going through as I was recording. I was severely depressed. I'll say it. Just because sometimes I don't really like to talk about what happened in that part, but I'll just like kind of surface it. Nothing bad, but I was pretty depressed and I was pretty anxious and I was going through a lot mentally, and I was kind of jumping between, I was transferring to college. Everything was a whole massive change, so a lot was going on. And so I was writing from a place that was very kind of influenced by a lot of the dark kind of behind the scenes work that goes on through a lot of people's lives, because everyone, whether you'll admit it or not, everyone does have, kind of a wall they build up whenever they're out in public. So then whenever people see them, it is a wall, and they're hiding truly what they feel, unless if they're the type of person that's like, I'll tell you everything how I feel. And so I was kind of trying to play from the realm of I was trying to kind of come from like the area of how a lot of people probably feel other than myself whenever they're at home or anything like that. This is the first project that I've had that doesn't really fall. Actually, no, that's a lie. Midnight Theory didn't follow a storyline, but the last two albums, or the last two projects that I put out. How many projects have I put out? I've put out. Oh my god, I should know this. I put out 3 projects. Okay, that's right. I put out 3 projects. Midnight Theory was first. That was the first album that was released. And then from there was singles. And then I released Split Mind. And then Split Mind was a... why can I not think of the words? Split Mind was a concept album. And then this EP was just a 5-song EP about just truly how I feel about life in general. And I think the darkest song out of that, and also my favorite song, um, just if you want to truly see, like, I think my best writing style out of that EP, if you ever want to listen to it, I think a good place to start, obviously, from the beginning, but like to get a full grasp about what was happening at that time, I would say definitely listen to Collect Calls. It's very dark and it's very gritty, but that was the one that I felt my heart went into the most, and it just felt so good to get how I was feeling off of my chest. And honestly, writing music, doing anything that's kind of sort of like a creative art is something that'll help you, get your emotions out. And whenever I was writing this album or this EP, it really helped get my emotions out and really made me kind of express how I was truly feeling if I couldn't say it, in person. It really helped to say it through song. And I just wanted, like, for anyone that's ever going through anything, there are people that are there for you, and I'm one of those people. I'm a massive advocate for mental health. I've had a lot of friends struggle. I've had a lot of friends that are lost, and I've been down, an emotional road that I hope to never go down again. And you really kind of can't take for granted life. And if anyone's ever going through anything, if you ever need to talk to anyone that you kind of feel like is a last effort, I'm always available, whether what time. I always make time for mental health because no one should struggle through anything like that. Um, and if you ever, like feeling stuck in a rut and you can't talk to anyone, you can talk to me. And I know sometimes it's really hard to say, "Hey, can I talk to you?" Because that's what I was struggling with the most. It's hard to find someone to talk to, because talking to a stranger can also feel weird, but also talking to someone can feel weird because you see them every day, or you see them often enough where you're like, I wonder what they think about me now after I told them what I went through. So it can be scary, but you definitely should talk to someone if you're going through anything. Alcohol, drugs, it's never really the answer. And I know I sound like such an adult for saying that, but it's honestly true. I've had a lot of friends that resort to, bad habits, whether it be smoking, whether it be drinking, whether it be just anything. And I can see them going down a dark path, and I can tell how much is changing them. And, just like anything can be a vice. And if you keep delving into your vices too much, it can cause you to have a lot of problems. But, there's ways out of it if you talk to people, even if you I know for some people it helps to just play video games. That's me. It just helps. And then, there's also a lot of people that it helps to just go outside, be in an immersive environment, whether it be, nature, or just even like freaking, if you go to Walmart or if you go to Target, if you go to just like any sort of place that's out in the open where you could just forget about your problems and you just kind of look around for a while. And even if it helps observing other people, or if it helps, helping other people, like volunteering, a lot of that, like that can help people, or if you just go out and just have fun. But, vices are everywhere, and you just have to know whenever you need to stop using too much of one vice and switch up to another, or just to stay away from a vice altogether. Um, but yeah, that got super deep. But anyways, my EP. Yeah, so my EP's been released. It's on Soundcloud. You can go search it through. My YouTube channel has like the link on it all the time. My Instagram has the link to. No, the Instagram has the link to my YouTube. But anyways, you can find it. Pretty much. Ooh, sorry. Pretty much anything gets rerouted to my YouTube, and my YouTube has all of my links, and you can search and sift through it that way. And if it's not one of my links, it always goes to the Spacemob link, and that can always get you anywhere. But yeah, so my EP came out. If you'd like to give it a listen, that'd be great. If you want to share it with people, that would be fan-fucking-tastic. But I'm not going to pressure anyone into listening to my music, because that's not... I do it for myself, and I do it for the other people that want to hear it. I'm not going to push, I don't like to peddle as much. I'd much rather be genuine with conversation and distribution of music, and just any sort of art form. I don't like pressuring into people into doing stuff that they don't want to do. So I don't want to be like, hey, did you listen to my EP? Did you listen to it? Did you listen? Did you listen? That's because that's just not how I am. I don't like to do that to people. But another thing I wanted to talk about is all these live action reboots that are going on. First off, I want to talk with The Lion King. That's actually I was watching the trailer, and I was watching stuff on Facebook, and it really pisses me off that Disney is doing it shot for shot from the animation. So essentially, whenever you do anything that's live action in general, you're just beating a dead horse that has been revived, and then you beat it again. So essentially, you killed it in a good, like, I guess, like, if you killed a movie, like, in a good way, and then it gets revived, so you can beat the shit out of it again over the head with a mallet that also has an AK-47 attached to it, just so you can get every drop of money out of it as possible. So essentially, they're remaking the exact same movie, but in a live action, which is still a CGI, so it's not even fully live action. And they're essentially just remaking the same movie. Now, will I watch it? I might. You never know. I might. I did like Lion King. That was one of the movies I grew up watching because I had a VHS set from my two older sisters. So I just watched constantly. I just watched TV constantly. Well, I watched Lion King constantly. And it is a great movie. Whoops. Sorry. So that was something that I watched constantly. And I probably will watch it. You never know. I'm not mad that they're making it again. But what I'm mad about is the fact that there was no effort put into it. Now, granted, there's effort when you make CGI and whenever you make a production, but they're making it shot for shot. It's the exact same movie, but just repurposed, repackaged, and redistributed. And it sucks, because it's just like, you're gonna pretty much get weaseled out of your money to see something that you've probably already seen, just to be like, wow, now it's, in CGI, so it's in a different form of animation, but it's still animation. But like, no, dude, it's live action, so it's cool. And it sucks. So pretty much all of your money is going to go to that. And you never know, probably down the road, they're going to reanimate all the other Lion Kings. And I did say reanimate on purpose. And they're just going to repurpose it and just refurbish it and just do it that way. Soon enough, once we get once we have we have VR. They're going to make like a VR version, but except it's going to be sort of like your whole body's like put into the movie and you're going to be Simba. Like, it's going to be something weird down the line whenever we have the technology to do it, to be like, oh, fully experience this stuff. Now, granted, I'm a hypocrite because I do that with video games. I have Skyrim Special Edition, which was the same game repurposed, but the only difference was you can have mods and there's a creation club. That's the only difference. But keep in mind, you can't play the old the original Skyrim, like Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. You cannot play the Xbox 360 version on Xbox One. So that's the reason why I got it, because I have an Xbox One and I couldn't play it. So I got Special Edition. But then again, the mods, it's such a cool aspect. So pretty much, if there's no vanilla if you got tired of playing the vanilla game and you're like, I want to kind of do something that's, makes it more fun, makes it more challenging, or makes it more easy, because you're like, I was one mission away and then my game broke and I never got to finish the main quests, or I never got to finish like the certain side quest or minor quest or whatever. That's really cool. And also it's fun to have mods that are very lore heavy, that delve deep. I have one mod that I absolutely love. If I knew the person that created it, I would tell you guys, but I can't remember. Actually, I'm gonna look it up just so I can give them full credit. Um, Sorry. Um, it's called Beyond Skyrim Bruma. I have to look these guys up. Sorry if they're not guys. I use the term a lot. But Beyond Skyrim. Let me look it up really quick. Oh great, my Wi-Fi's down because Wi-Fi at college is awful. Let me pull it up on my phone. Beyond Skyrim mod. Because I want to say who it's by, because I would feel awful if I didn't actually give you their information. Here we go. But it takes you into Oblivion after the Oblivion Crisis. It is created by... Great. Created by the Beyond Skyrim Cyrodiil development team, uploaded by Beyond Skyrim DC, and this is on Nexus Mods, and it's like a full mod that was professionally and semi-professionally recorded, and they like remade music. They did a lot of stuff, and it really shows. They did an incredible job on it, and if they're ever watching this, I thank you for making that mod because it was really cool. And so I really liked that mod, and there's a lot of different cool immersive things that you can do with mods, and that's why I like Skyrim Special Edition. But I also am a hypocrite. I'm pulling this back from whatever I said before. I'm also a hypocrite because I really want Skyrim in VR, because I want to be a Dragonborn. Who doesn't want to? You can savagely... Oh, ew, I'm sorry. You can kill dragons, and you can shout at dragons, and you can pretty much live in an immersive world where almost anything can happen. You can become a mage, you can become a warrior, sorry, you can become a thief, you can do like all this stuff. And I know probably people are like, oh, that's scary. Like, you can go into a world where anything happens. It's like, yeah, because, you can get out all your anger for the day by just putting on a headset and just pretending to be the Dragonborn, pretending to be Dovahkiin for, like an hour or two. And just, like, let all the stress of the world go away for the day. And the other live action reboot I was going to talk about, already, as soon as I said that, I know what people are thinking off the top of their head, and they're absolutely correct. They're absolutely right. And it's Aladdin. A, what the fuck was the trailer? B, just no. Just no. Look, I like Will Smith. I like Aladdin. Aladdin was one of my favorite movies when I was younger. A lot of Disney movies and Pixar movies were like my favorite whenever I was younger, because I had them at an abundant exposal. I had it at an abundant, yeah, exposal. Yeah. Yeah. I had an abundant exposure. And so I watched all those movies and I loved them all. And it's just, I don't know, sometimes whenever live action comes along, if you're just going to do either shot for shot, or you're just going to butcher a character or characters, or if you're just going to butcher it all just to be like, we want to do CGI, make everything look cool, then it sucks, because, it's like a classic has been, once again, revived to be re-murdered. and it's just stupid, and I think it's a waste of time because they could be putting more money into developing a story that's never been told before, and it kind of sucks. But those are the only two live action reboots that I was really going to talk about. But so switching on to social media, I was going to talk about um, Twitter. I've been hearing a lot recently that people think that Twitter's getting stale. Um, it's just getting to the point where it's just kind of annoying, and I personally think that, and I honestly kind of want to know how long it's gonna last. Because anytime I go on Twitter, I probably close it within 10 minutes, because it's either Meninist or athletes in high school, or it's um, someone stealing a meme from someone else and not giving them credit, because that's a massively common thing that happens on Twitter all the time. Or it's a meme that's been redone, that's like I see constantly on Facebook and on Twitter, um like stuff I've seen from years before that's been remade, like years before that went massively popular, and then it's been remade. And I also can't stand, like, I don't know, I just can't stand like Twitter speak, where it's just like people that are trying to make memes and trying to make threads that are so overly relatable with, like, it'll be like, yo, let's do this before, let's make Twitter positive, drop a picture below of where you look the best. And all it is, it's just giving them a rise in comments, so the viralness just goes around. So it's kind of them wanting to be famous wrapped into a nostalgic or relatable kind of content, and it just launches them, because it'll also be like, oh, like this if you remember what this movie is, and comment if you know what it is, but don't give away. Or it'll be like, say a line from the movie, but don't give away any characters, or like something like that. And all it is just someone trying to beat the system without using bots or anything to give them more notoriety on tweets or posts or anything like that, and it gets really annoying. Also, every time, it's probably just the people that I follow, like my friends that I follow on Twitter, but all the time I go on, it's just people being political, and I want to throw up. Um, I can't stand seeing anything from any side. I can't stand people. I can't stand watching, like, oh, these snowflakes are getting verbally abused because they're not seeing the logic in an argument. Or it's like, oh, this Republican or conservative got shut down because one time, I don't know, like, be like, oh, I don't know. It's just so ridiculous. I remember whenever PewDiePie was on, was just completely harped on Twitter, because that whole like Nazi thing that was going around, and then he just poured into it as a joke, because he was like, this is hilarious, because clearly I'm not a Nazi. I've said I'm not a Nazi before, and so I'm just gonna bleed into it now because the media is pointless. And I remember the one time I saw this, and then he made a video about it, that J.K. Rowling called him out without doing her research on like something that she was commenting that he did, and it completely showed. Um, and it was just really funny. And then, what else was I going to talk about? Oh, another social media platform that I absolutely can't stand is TikTok. TikTok is the absolute worst thing that's ever come into existence. Um, but specifically, I wanted to talk about how people on TikTok will claim actor status, and I think it's massively ironic, because there's nothing funnier than saying, well, than not saying, Um, I will lip sync the words to a movie because I can't do it myself because this person did it better. But I can show my face because I'm hot. And so it'll just add to the performance. Essentially, it's just 1000% stealing content from a movie that you think that you could do better, but yet not good enough because you have to have the original wording from someone else that said it. It makes no sense and it sucks and it's stupid because also TikTok, what was it? Like there was like some I just saw something recently that like whenever TikTok was musically um whenever it was musically that there was something with like a whole pedophilia thing going around. That's what I heard. I forget. I was watching, was it a Danny Gonzalez video? I can't remember who I was watching, but it was on YouTube and someone was talking about how there was like a whole problem. Oh no, it was Cody Ko. That's right, because he was talking about how he made a joke about TikTok vines, and then TikTok pretty much just like essentially like were being a bunch of dicks to him. And yeah, that's where I saw it. That I guess that there was something wrong. Like there's something that happened with like pedophilia in like the TikTok slash musically realm, or probably just because it was a bunch of like old people scamming young children like from their money, because that happened a lot. Because older people see that younger people can be easily manipulated because they're not in the world as long as they are, so they know how to like screw them out of their money. And that is also a lot of shit because that's not fair. Um, and then another thing is, if any of you have ever seen it, on Fate. Oh yeah, no, because I was also gonna say it got really annoying that TikTok, it's the same videos that I will see on Snapchat for 5 days straight for ads with whenever I'm going through my friends' stories or like people that I follow their stories, and I will see the same ads like for 5 days in a row, if not more, of the same video, and it will piss me off. And then by the time that I'm just like, you know what, fuck this, a new ad will come out with a different video, and it's getting really annoying, and I can't stand it. But I just don't understand how like some of these people that like make apps and stuff like that, like I wonder who comes up with their marketing program, like because there's games that I play on my phone, and like whenever I watch an ad to get free gems because I don't like spending money on games that are on my phone, it'll be the same ad for the same game that's like, OMG, this game is too hard. And the one that I can think of right now is one of those, like, it's like something scapes, where like you're fixing up a house or like you're fixing up a garden or something like that, and it's like, why is this game so hard, and like crying emojis, and like they'll put gasoline on something that's already on fire, or like on and like just stuff like that, and it's just like it it just looks like they're trying so hard to make an ad that it just looks like it's supposed to be made for a child. But holy shit, wait, but like I said before, children are more easily manipulated. Holy shit, I think I figured out all of the apps that you can use on your phone. Is they're just using apps to manipulate children, because older people see through it and they see that it's stupid, but younger people will be like, oh my god, it's so easy, let me do it, and then they do it, and then they beat the game. But by the time that they beat the game, they put in so much time into it by seeing so many ads that they've already made money back from it. Oh my god, I'm going down a slippery slope. Okay, well, I just beat that dead horse, damn it. Okay, but Another app that I see ads for all the time is Hilly or Highly, one of the fucking two. Because for each ad that I see, someone pronounces it differently. You think that like the marketing team for Hilly and or Highly would be on the same track for how you pronounce it. Like you think that they'd be like, okay, no, it's pronounced Hilly, and go. This is what you're supposed to say. But the first one I saw is this dude that's like, yo, I'm recommending this app Hilly. It like you swipe right and like it goes through like a filter. It like filters out like it knows whenever you swipe, and I was like, okay, so it's like a Tinder. Okay, like that's fine. It's whatever. It's not a big deal. Cool. Um, a second one I saw, it's this girl that's at the gym, and she's like, oh, the Highly app. I was like, wait, okay, hold up. What do you mean, the Highly app? I just heard like 2 minutes ago because I got one of your ads because I guess I was skipping through stories too fast. That you said it was that someone else said it was Hilly. So what am I supposed to believe? And then like the next ad you see, someone will pronounce it Hilly, and then someone will pronounce it Highly, and it's just a whole mess that it doesn't. But see, that's the thing. It's like I don't know if that's supposed to be like on purpose, or if it's just like they pull Snapchat stories from people that use it and it's just pronounced differently, but they're like, okay, well, this is the best one that we've seen today, so we'll run this as an ad for the next like couple weeks for X amount. Maybe that's it, but I don't know. And it gets really ridiculous because I see the Hilly and the TikTok ads all the time on my Snapchat. It just pollutes my Snapchat. That and raising Bad Behavior, aka Danielle Bergoli, who is probably one of the worst humans ever. But I saw something recently on one of the because I was stupid and went through one of the stories, official stories, and they were talking about like how she started and how she became. Because I was like, oh, this is stupid. I was like, she's so annoying. She's like a YouTube rapper, and she's probably not even that good. I listened to one of her songs, and it was just so corny. And then next thing you know, I went through the entire story, and I was like, huh, okay, because apparently she was up for I didn't watch it, but she was up for a Grammy with like against Cardi B and Nicki Minaj and Rihanna. And I was like, okay, well then I guess her music's not that bad. Clear, but then again, whatever Grammys is rigged and stuff like that. But also, if you're going and your like music is up for a Grammy, then that definitely means that you've made enough of like a circulation around like the popular community. And apparently she's releasing an album in like within the year or something like that, and so apparently her music isn't as bad as was I presumed it to be. I didn't listen to anything else other than um oh god, it was her first song that came out that like it was her song, like she wasn't featured on it. And um that was the only song I've ever heard from her. But I mean, she's probably better. She definitely was better than like Jake Paul and Logan Paul. So I mean, there's something there. Um, but speaking about YouTubers, I have some awesome news. I am going to a meet and greet for my favorite YouTubers, which are Cody Ko and Noel Miller, and I'm going to see them around campus, like we're off campus, and I'm more than excited because it's a meet and greet, and I've always wanted to like see them just in general. So now that I have the ability to do that, it's pretty freaking dope. So I'm excited to see them coming up. And yeah, so sorry. God, I've been so tired recently. This is ridiculous. But the last few things I wanted to talk about was, um, like stuff that's been going on in the rap community. Apparently that Lil Uzi retired from rap. He was just like, I deleted everything because whatever, and that was weird because I remember me and my friend were hanging out. Me and Alex were hanging out. Other, um, my my other friend that's a part of Spacemob. If you're new to the channel, uh, and he told me that like he was on, was it, I forget where he announced it, on Twitter or on he announced it on Instagram, and Alex pulled it up on Instagram and he was like, "Wait, Lil Uzi's retiring from music?" I was like, "That has to be a joke." But apparently, I just saw something recently that like what he's been spending his retirement, what he was spending what he was spending his time doing now that like he's retired from music. And I was like, okay, well I guess he legitimately retired and it's not supposed to be like a publicity stunt. And I don't know, like I feel like he's young enough that he probably will come back. Like it's not a full blown retirement. Like he probably will come back to making music. Just like with most people, like people will like do farewell tours and then they'll have like a second farewell and then they'll have like a third farewell. Like, it just happens because like you think you're done, but then you still have like the creative aspect, a part of you that wants to make more songs and stuff like that. So you eventually do, and then like you'll create, whether it be an album, a single, or an EP, or like multiple after. It just like you still go until you're dead sometimes. And so I don't know if he's gonna fully retire or if he's just like taking a break from now, like a long break, and then he'll come back. But you never know. You kind of have to see. I also just saw recently that Tekashi 69 snitched on some people, and a lot of people were like pissed at him. But the reasons why he was snitching was like for a good cause or something like that. And it kind of mind boggled me. I don't know. I never listened to Tekashi in the first place. I got really turned off by like his music. I never listened to anything that was like that good from him, for me personally. Now, there's a lot of people that like him. A lot of people think that he's good. You can do that because this is America, so whatever the hell you want to do. But I never really got into him. And I saw that he was going to jail, but then some people thought that he was fighting the good fight and that like a lot of his music was like anti-government, and then the government like was tracking him, and then they tried to get him like in prison because a lot of like the stuff that he talks about is like anti-government, and like a lot of people that were like reading into it like heavily as shit. And I mean, whatever, that could be the case in life. Anything could happen, but obviously under given circumstances, the probability of something happening is higher than something else. Like, so yeah. So he just snitched. He's not getting any jail time, and he's gonna be on parole. And that was the last thing that I saw, and I saw that last night, I think. And so yeah, he's not getting any jail time, and there's a lot of conflicting arguments upon that. What else happened? XXX Tentacion was murdered in his car, and people went fucking berserk. People that would make jokes about him dying, and then people coming to X's defense and saying that you can't make jokes because he died. And then people would say, well, you can make jokes about Lil Peep, but you can't make jokes about X. And there's a whole fight on double standards that like, oh, you can make jokes about like Tupac and Biggie Smalls because they died, but you can't make jokes about Lil Peep and X because they I don't know, just died recently, like whatever the case was. But there was a lot of people that were like, "Oh no, you can't make fun of X because his music had a lot of meaning, and the fact that he died is really sad, and his music was sad, and it helped me through a lot. So like, you can't make fun of him." But it's like people will constantly bag on Eminem, but yet bag on Eminem. That's funny. But people constantly bag on Eminem, and I could easily be like, "Yo, you can't say anything because his music helped me through like a really rough time in my life." And people be like, "Fuck you, dude. I'll say whatever I want." And like that was kind of the argument. Like people were making jokes about X and his death, and then people were like, "Yo, you can't make jokes about that. His music was so deep and it like helped me through a lot." And some people be like, "Oh, shut the fuck up." And so that was a whole situation that happened. And Childish Gambino announced that he was going to make one more album, and he was just going to focus on his acting career because he's well, for those that you don't know, he's producer, acting, and directing in the show Atlanta that he also wrote. I forgot that too. And so he was focusing a lot of his time on that. It's actually on season 2. It's streaming on Hulu for any of you that want to watch it. I watch it all the time. It's an incredible show. He's absolutely hilarious. Lakeith Stanfield's just like, oh my gosh, he's so funny. Like absolutely funny. Like he's ridiculously funny. The guy that plays Darius. Is it Darius? I don't want to get this wrong as well, because that's skewed information. Atlanta. It is okay. No, not the state. That was. Here we go. That was dumb. But sorry. Yeah, Darius. Lakeith Stanfield plays Darius. He's super funny. He's absolutely funny in the show. Just complete like misdirectional comedy, like stuff that doesn't make sense, but like the awkwardness in the way he gives it, and like just the way that he delivers, like it's perfect. Like the one scene I love in the very beginning, whenever he asks, oh my god, you're just gonna have to watch it. It's a great show. I recommend it. Oh yeah, also Rick and Morty got renewed for like a shitload more episodes, so it looks like in total they could probably have like 9 seasons, and people like went crazy about that. But the only problem was that I saw that it takes them a while to work on the show because of how many people are working on it. Like it's not that many people, which is fine by me. It's not like I really it's not like I really care. Like I would much rather see someone put as much time and effort into something as they can, instead of just like throwing up just shows to be like, here, just put them out, release them. So if they take time on it, then oh well, then they take time on it. I personally don't mind. And what else has happened recently? Eminem with Kamikaze. That was earlier in 2018. Or was it middle of the year? Whatever. No, it was late 2018. I'm so just dismembered mentally. I just out of nowhere just had a platinum certified album within a week. I think it went platinum. No sort of promotion, just released it. I found out over a friend's Snapchat the day of. Well, I guess yeah, whenever he released it at 12 a.m. I found out that day, like towards like midday, and holy hell, I don't think anyone was spared in the rap community from that album. He just completely annihilated everyone, henceforth Kamikaze. He went and took people out by taking himself out. and it was a great album. I think it was a great bounce back for Recovery, because a lot of people didn't like Recovery. It was very heavily political, and a lot of people didn't really like that. Everyone told him to get off his soapbox and just stick to retirement. But I think personally that Kamikaze was a good album. Um, I did like all the disses. I like the Alex calls it the trilogy. Um, the song where he calls that MGK. MGK came back with Rap Devil, and then Eminem just annihilated him with Kill Shot. If you like listen to all those three fully through, actually I have it on my one of my Spotify playlists. It's called the Trilogy, and it's those three. And if you listen to them fully, the three, let me pull it up. Okay, it's not there. What the fuck? Oh wait, playlist. The Trilogy. So it goes Not Alike with Royce da 5'9", and then Rap Devil, and then Kill Shot. And if you listen to them all in a row, like that, it's called the Trilogy, or at least that's what Alex calls it, and that's now what I call it. And there was something I was just about to talk about. Oh, damn it. I should probably actually do this, more professionally, if I want to do this professionally. But, I am back. I can wholeheartedly say that I'm going to be making more videos. It's just been a lot, but now I have the time to settle down. In the summer, I will be at my own apartment. I'll be moving in, so I'll have more time at a place wherever I can easily make stuff without having to go around other people's schedules. Me and a friend of mine, a really great friend of mine, are thinking about doing a podcast and trying to get more people to interview, whether it be local artists. But we're going to go and try and test the waters sometime soon. I have another podcast in mind, and everything's looking good right now. And I think, what are we at? We're about like an hour, so I'll wrap it up right now. So anyways, that was the podcast. Thank you for listening the whole way through, if you did. I'm putting this on YouTube if you're listening from Soundcloud, and if you're listening from YouTube, I'm putting it on Soundcloud. And I think I might try to put up some podcasts then on Spotify if I can ever figure out how to do it, and get like my podcasts put on other places that other people can like listen to them a lot easier than just listening to YouTube and having to keep the phone on and stuff like that. So I will try to figure out what to do. But anyways, that is the podcast. I thank you for listening. Hello to anyone that's new. Hello to anyone that's old. And if you like what you heard, you could always share this with your friends. I'm not at the point now where I can really do a Patreon because I don't really have enough surrounding right now. But if I ever get to a point where I have enough people, I will probably eventually open up a Patreon, because I would like to do YouTube full time if I possibly could. But thank you for support anyways, by just watching, by liking, by giving me feedback, by disliking, because I can figure out what I can do right, or what I can do to make it right. But I really do appreciate everything that everyone does, by commenting, subscribing, by telling me what they like. I really appreciate it. If you ever want to comment down in the section below what you want to see more of, or what you want me to talk about, you can also do that as well. But yes, once again, thank you for listening. I love you all, and I hope you have a good day. Peace.